Hello, hello, hola amigos, hola amigas, bienvenidos, welcome to Lima, Peru, welcome to my city, welcome to my home. Today we are going to have the chance of exploring together one of the controversial chapters of the history of Peru, and we are going also to talk about a community that needs to be highlighted, that needs to be cared, that needs to be supported. This is the LGTB plus community of Peru, and we're going to focus in the present situation, the present times of Peru, and how they are dealing with living in a country that is very Catholic. Still, about 80% of the population of Lima and Peru is Catholic, and also 15% of the population of Peru identifies with the evangelical religion, the evangelical movement. So how is life for the community in Peru nowadays? So first of all, let me say hi to you all. Thanks for joining. Let me say hi name by name. Hi Anthony, hi Adrian, hi JB, thanks for coming. Hi Marlene, thanks for coming. Thank you so much for visiting Lima today. Hi DJ, hello. Hi Adrian, thanks for coming. Gracias. Violeta, hi. Marlene, thanks for your tip support already. And by the way, amigos, if you would like to support this channel, Your Guide in Lima and Hego, there is a way to do it, which is through a tip support. Of course, don't feel this is compulsory. All our tours are for free, but it really helps us to continue creating content for you all. So muchas gracias, Marlene. Thank you so much. Hi, Culture. Hello, Mo. Thanks for joining. Hola. And I hope you are ready to start to begin with a really interesting and controversial theme of today. So just give me a second, amigos, because I am about to begin with this interesting controversial theme. And remember, all your questions are more than welcome. I want to really be fair with the story of the community of the modern contemporary times. By the way, we had already covered the history of the community in the past times, since the pre-Hispanic society, colonial times, and early Republican period. If you haven't seen that first event, I recorded this event and I posted in my YouTube channel. So if you wish later, you can go there and you can learn about the history of the community. But well, in the past times, in the days when the Incas and the pre-Inca societies ruled here, this territory, how it was the life of them during the colonial times, and also well in the Republican. So now we're going to cover the present times. See, Marlene, and also for those that are new to my channel, well, later I will let you know how you can get to my YouTube channel, see my, let's say my tours, my recorded events. So that's going to be at the end of this event. So well, let's begin with this event. And by the way, this is an event from home. I am transmitting live from Lima, Peru, from my house here in Lima. And we're going to explore together let's say a theme that is controversial in Peru. Remember, Peru and Latin America, we are Catholic, mainly Catholic nations, and most people identify with the Catholic faith. So this is probably the first important wall the community has to pass or go across to live their lives as any other person would like to, like happy and free and able to be and achieve, let's say, opportunities in an equal way like the rest of people. And also we are going to be talking in this controversial series about minorities a lot. So please follow this event, because every time I will be bringing something new. So as I was saying, Peru is a Catholic country, but is this really by law? No, actually our constitution mentions that Peru is a secular country. So there are other constitutions in the world where religion is, for instance, is the beginning connected with all the, let's say, the way how the countries are tailored, no, in present times. But Peru is a secular country. But do we really, let's say, behave as a secular country? Of course not. No? Many important ideas. By the way, some of these slides are in Spanish, so you will be practicing Spanish with me. Some of them are not. I'll try to build a little bit of information in both languages. So important concepts. First of all, we have to understand, for people that are new in this topic, about, let's say, studying and understanding the LGBTQ plus community, we have to understand some differences, concepts that are important that we are trying to teach even in schools nowadays in Peru and in the world. So one thing is sex, no? And sex is the biological condition, the genitalia that you are born with. Gender is the social idea about how, according to your sex, someone has to behave, right? For example, in Latin America, we have the gender roles very clear. What boys and girls should be dressed, what type of games boys and girls should play, how the men and women should be when they grow up. What are even the tempers of men? Men has to be authoritarian, women should be delicate, for example, no? And this is very, very much more clear in the Andes or in the jungle or in zones that are quite traditional still. This identity, sexual identity, is something different as well. Is the sex that the person feels identified with, right? So, and in many cases, there are people born in one body with one genitalia, and they don't feel really identified with what the gender, about your genitalia is supposed to be, right? So that's the identification, sexual identification, according to, let's say, the body you inhabit, no? And sexual orientation is the attraction that you have, or could be for a person of a different sex, or a person of your sex, same sex, right? So these are the concepts we have to start with. And what the constitution in Peru, we're talking about the Peruvian case, okay? So what is the constitution? The constitution of Peru says about, marriage, and especially about, let's say, same-sex marriage. So first of all, we have to focus in the article number 4 of the Peruvian constitution, in which most of the people who fight against the same-sex marriage in Peru, they hold on in the constitution. But our constitution, to be very clear, doesn't really say much about, if you can marry with someone of your same sex. For example, the state promotes, let's say, marriage is what the article number 4 says, the promotion of marriage, promoción del matrimonio. But it doesn't say anything about, marriage of, same sex, different sexes, there's no clarification about this. It's just the promotion of marriage. But when people in Peru, let's say, and especially people in the politics, congressmen who are fighting against same sex in Peru, they said that, the civil code, the Peruvian civil code says that indeed marriage is for people of opposite sex. And let's say the idea basically it holds on not on the constitution, instead of the civil code, which is a different document. So important also to mention that in Peru, there is always this idea of connection of marriage and procreation, which by law it is not really fundamented in the Constitution. The marriage is all about, like cooperation, feeling supported, assistant. Imagine if we were like focusing in marriage with the cause of procreation, people who are unable to procreate wouldn't be able to get married in Peru because, let's say, the law says so, and there should not be any differentiation. But that's not the case in Peru for the people who are willing to, let's say, support the ideas that they say marriage is of people from different sexes for procreation. Exactly, Marlene. So we are now trying to understand all the elements behind the idea that many people, and to be very honest, a bigger number of population in Peru supports, right? But we are here to clarify everything. And here is the little expert of the Civil Code of Peru, the Article 239, that says that marriage is the voluntary union between men and women. But that is not the Constitution, is the Civil Code. And also little quotes, I will be giving you little quotes for moments just to understand that all of this idea that many of us from our different positions are fighting for let's say, egalitarian treatment of the minorities, let's say, no discrimination according to the skin color or gender, for example. Just few years ago, just 30 years ago, the World Health Organization, the WHO, considered homosexuality still to be a mental illness, right? So we are seeing great changes in the world rapidly, and we are fighting for those. So we all have to stand up from our positions, and we are doing big progresses, to be very honest, in short time. In Peru, homosexuality was a crime, indeed, for a long time. And already I have covered this theme of the history of homosexuality in Peru. I already invited you to see my previous video about this event that I recorded from an event live here in Hago on my YouTube channel. So just little experts in English, no? There was death penalty in Peru for sodomy. Homosexuality, the word was coined pretty much in the early 20th century as a word to be used initially like for a mental disease. Was supposed to be a mental disease at some point. So the original word used to name homosexuals, could be lesbians or gays or transvestites, trans, was sodomy, right? They were sodomists. Also, sodomy still was punished in the same level as rape, sexual rape in Peru until 1924, right? So this is, of course, like a quite recent story, no? Because we're talking about 20th century. And hate crimes in Peru, this has been a hot topic in the recent years, especially because most of the times when we talk about hate crimes, we are talking about men beating to death to their wives, for example, in some zones, usually rural locations or extreme poor locations. This is not something just from Peru. It happens around the world. It happens even in North America and in Europe, but probably in bigger number in our Latin American nations. But hate crime is also a name given to any crime that happens against someone based on their race, their religion, their sexual orientation. So, of course, we have a law here about, like for protecting the gay community in cases of a hate crime. But there were lots of problems and fights in the Peruvian Congress among the most conservative, let's say, congressmen that represented the most conservative, let's say, political parties to include homosexuals, gays, lesbians, trans in the hate crime law, right? Which was finally approved in the year 2017. It was the law 1323, which was observed later, right, by one of the most, we will say, right-wing political parties of Peru. Probably you have heard about Alberto Fujimori. If you haven't, well, it's a really interesting president of Peru who was, by the way, a child of immigrants from Japan. So Alberto Fujimori is descendant of Japanese, but born in Peru. So he became president in the 90s. And his political party is known as very conservative. So until this day, modern times, 2017, this political party united with many political parties that are very conservative, which are also aligned to the evangelical beliefs and religion. They presented or let's say their intentions to derogate or to observe, to change the law of hate crime, in which not just women, like feminicide, as we call it, were included. Also people according to their skin color or their background, but also gays, lesbians, trans, so LGBT plus community. But still, we have it. So we're going now to talk about activism in Peru. So for us be able to include in the hate crimes also this minority. We had passed through a big process of transformation. First of all, that usually is called coming out from the closet. But in Peru, it has not been that easy just to say, I am trans, I am lesbian, I am homosexual. And the first acts of, let's say, of demonstration and support for the community started really in the 70s. So it also happened pretty much in the same time in different parts of the world. Although we are a conservative nation, we have really quite some time speaking up for the community. In the year 1978, we had the first request for rights for the community in Peru. And there were 3 trans, Peruvian trans, who dared to present in front of probably the most complicated and most, like machistic government we could have in Peru. We had a junta. We had a military president ruling Peru. Can you imagine that? So you can also check later about Mr. Morales Bermudez, who was a military president who ruled at the end of the 70s, early 80s. And these ladies that were brave enough to go to the authorities to ask for rights for the travestis. Travesti is trans, right? And even they had what we will call some minutes of fame in television, but they were mocked a lot, and they knew they will. And really after this time of fame, they had these weeks now that were very short, to be honest, in which they had some coverage, in which they were mocked publicly, and they had also coverage of media. Then after that, they disappeared. We don't know more about them. Of course, they continue alive, but they decided just to, retract from the public eye, because what they wanted was just to call the attention. And look at this, let's say, journal, the front page of the journal, Oiga 78, and it says the third sex in the first power, right? So this was the first attempt of activism, but this also took us in a different direction, which was really like more constituting our organization. So we have old organization that still is existing in Peru. It is the MOL. The MOL is, let's say, well, the translation of the name of this group is the Homosexual Movement of Lima. Right? And it was officially constituted in 1982, and they fought for the abolition or the prohibition of the discrimination of the community since the early 80s, right? And they started, of course, as a very small, timid group, but they needed, of course, to organize and be more, let's say, like seen and become really formally created, because there were many hate crimes that were happening in the country, and we're really silent, because a nation that was so Catholic, would never really focus too much in news, just maybe the tabloids, but not really news, that were with the intention of digging in all the dirt that was connected with the hate crimes against the LGBT plus community. So we have here a very important moment of the history of the community in the 80s, end of the 80s, and also is connected with another important piece of history of Peru, which really caused terror in the whole nation for about 25 years. We're talking about the terrorism. Have you heard about the Shining Path, my friends? Have you heard about the MRTA? These were terrorist groups who that existed in Peru, who were led by paramilitaries, who were inspired in not just communistic ideas from the world that were in the 80s, still existing, reminiscence of the, let's say, extreme communism of the beginnings of the 20th century. They were followers of Mao Zedong in the case of the Shining Path. And in the case of the MRTA, the group that conducted to the massacre that I am sharing with you in this moment, the massacre of Tarapoto, also known as the Night of the Gardenias, in 1989, the MRTA group was also a paramilitary group inspiring the movements of Che Guevara, basically Latin America guerrilla, let's say President of Cuba. Sorry, I forgot about the name of him. So many names I have in this moment in my mind. So, this person, Castro, gracias Marlene, Fidel Castro, of course. So, the Night of the Gardenias is, gracias Marlene, is a very important time because, in the history of the community, because the MRTA group in the jungle, the groups that were in the jungle in Tarapoto, which is the north jungle section of Peru, it was a night of 1989. They got in a nightclub, right? And of course, that nightclub was very famous as a let's say a gay club, right? And they took 8 of the trans that were here in this nightclub, that were having a fun time, enjoying. They took them out and they killed them. And they said very proudly later, because they had a newspaper. These terrorist groups had newspapers when they published the things they did, because they were very proud of doing that. And they said that with this act, they were cleaning the society, because they considered these expressions of freedom to be completely against what they were looking for, which was a clean society. Of course, remember that the terrorists were not pro any religion as well. Terrorists kill nuns, priests, they kill anyone who they consider was not in the mold of what they will think is a functional person, for this let's say, ideas they were creating, no, of a perfect utopic society. No, so initially it was believed that Sendero Luminoso killed this group of trans, but Sendero was another terrorist group that existed at the same time. But later, the MRTA attributed themselves this massacre. So here's some pictures of the bodies outside the club and also rendered with the neighbors of that community. So we're going to pass to another moment of the history of the community in modern Peru. The first public protests, we have July the 1st, 1995. And we are having a very small group of 26 persons protesting at Kennedy Park and demonstrating in favor of rights for the community, the LGBTQ plus community of Lima. We have even some children here from the families of the people who were supporting the community openly, and we have, of course, another important moment, the first Pride of Peru. I, by the way, have a video about the Pride of 2022, no? So if you want to see how was Pride this year, I went there with my daughter, my oldest daughter, Valeria, to cover this event. And I have, let's say, a video about this Pride in my YouTube channel. So I invite you to see it later after this event. So the first one in 2002, we, let's say, 20 years, of course, of Prides in Peru, had also seen a society transform into a more accepting society. But of course, Pride is not activism, to be very honest. Pride is a party. It's a party where everything is possible, where everything is allowed for one night. But then after, we go back to who we are, right? So that is not activism. And what I am very happy to see in Peru is that we have more activism recently. But many people are not activists because they are afraid of what their parents will say, what their friends will say, what their employers will say. Right? This is a little link also if you want to just make a picture about my Pride video in YouTube. But later I will show you how you can access to this video. So here, another important moment. And it's not just about Peru we have to talk. It's about Latin America we have to talk. How is the situation of the community in Latin America? We just enumerate some examples, no? But you can see that we need to go farther away for a more egalitarian country or state or group of states for the community. For example, in the top part of this list of let's say, I will do a little zoom also for you. In the top list of these, the benefits that the community has in Latin America, we can see countries like, for example, Argentina. Argentina is a country that is way more open, according to, let's say, international, let's say, institutions who check on the conditions for the community in different parts of the world. For example, this list I have made for you have, for example, this is country, país, equalitarian marriage, so marriage for gay, like the gay community, civil union, the right of identity according to the gender, so the right to choose how you want to be, let's say, put in your ID, if female or male, right? So, for example, Argentina has it all, right? Hate crimes as well, Argentina, and also work protection. And laws in the constitution that benefit the regular community, well, in this case, no, right? So yes, no, and no. So how is the situation of Peru? Okay, so let's go down. So, equalitarian, let's say, marriage, no. Civil union, no. Right of identity according to the gender, no. Let's say, next, hate crimes, yes. We have despenalization. It says that this one here is when it was not anymore a crime to be gay, 1924, right? Protection in your work, yes, we do have protection. You cannot be kicked out from your job because you are gay. And laws in the Constitution that benefit you directly for being part of the community, no. Right? So I will go back to the position of the camera. And we're going to see also that we are really not in the worst case scenario because there are other countries in Latin America which you will see no to everything. Right? Puerto Rico, República Dominicana, Cuba, Belize, the ones that are in the bottom section are usually the ones that are dealing also more with the rights for the LGBTQ plus community. So countries in Latin America or in the Americas, where the civil marriage, equalitarian marriage is legal. Unfortunately, Peru is not in this group. Many Central American countries as well, Venezuela, Bolivia, Paraguay, for example. But look, majority of the countries in South America are already more welcoming to the idea of, marriage, equalitarian marriage for the community. Well, this is a project of law for the equalitarian marriage in Peru, which has been presented again in 2021, that is not yet accepted. It hasn't passed yet. It has been received, this project, but not yet accepted. Well, we have here, there's a video that if you want to also check later that I recommend you about gay prostitution in Peru, which the reason why gay prostitution is still the rate so big is because there are still stigmas for many people of the community to be able to work, to be able to flourish in different fields, right? Traditionally, the community has been always associated with other gay prostitution, either salons, hairdressers, right? And that's it. Which is not possible. So is Peru gay friendly? You might be wondering a lot about this during all of this exposition. Well, of course, I will be using official information in this moment. It's not my perspective. It's not my point of view, because I am friendly. My family is friendly. My friends are friendly because I choose my friends. I choose my, let's say, the person I live with. And I'm the person I am because my family has been wonderful enough to raise me with no, let's say, perceptions on this person is good because of their gender or their skin color, and God bless them for that, right? But this is not all the situation in the country, right? So for example, Peru, it hasn't, since, the beginnings of the 20th century, don't put people in jail for being gay, right? So this is a good thing. So it is not anymore considered to be a crime to be trans. Of course, this is a good thing, but we are yet far away to be able to have equal marriage opportunities for the community as well. Not yet ready to accept that these communities can adopt their children. Oh, thanks for the hearts, by the way. Yes, my family is wonderful. So we have yet not accepted the law for a gender identity. So we are still away. So we need, to be honest, to move forward now, right? So now other percentages. 8% of adult Peruvians identify with a sexual orientation that is not heterosexual. So they are not heterosexual, they are homosexual. 8% of Peruvians. It's a minority. About 1.7 million adult Peruvians identified as homosexual. And in the group of homosexuality, of course, which is very wide, we are talking about gay, lesbian, trans, non-binary, etc. No? It seems that they're going to, yes, my dear Mo, yes. But we are here to fight. We are here to open, the brain. Education is very important. See the past. The past can teach us a lot. Many people just live the moment. They don't see what had happened in the past. And we are condemned to repeat the same mistakes over and over and over if we don't see what had happened in the past as well, and be a better person also. That will help us a lot. So we have also 71% of Peruvians believe that the homosexual, bisexual, transsexual are discriminated or very discriminated. So is this something Peruvians don't know? Of course we know it. We know that Peruvians still discriminate. Do we do something about that? Well, that's another thing, huh? I'm very involved. Oh, Mo, I'm so happy. Yes, we can be activists in all ways. Are children more receptive? Diana, good comment, good question. In the schools recently, there has been some new, let's say, focuses in the, let's say, being more respectful for the minorities, including the gay community, but also recently there is a raising in the political sphere of right side political parties who are most of the times like guided by religious precepts that say that the idea of gender identity is devilish, and it's confusing for the children, right? Instead of being beneficial, they say that talking about this can be confusing and can encourage children to be gay, right? So, well, different positions, of course, about what we are trying to do here, right? So, do we recognize the homophobia? Se reconoce que existe la homofobia. Is homophobia present where the most is present? Hogar, home, 25%. So most of the homophobia happens at that this is bad, the men should behave like men, women should behave like women. This happens at home first. In the media, 11%. This is the second one, right? In the neighborhood, 10%. In the religious institutions, 6%. In the school, 5%. So if you had a company, would you agree in contract A, transsexual, transgender, transvestite? Muy dispuesto, very disposed, 23%, right? And we have completely not disposed, 21%. And then we can see that the colors variate. So we have a lot of people who will not be happy contracting trans in Peru. Discrimination also, it says, los peruanos indicó que estaba dispuesto. How many Peruvians indicated that they were disposed to contract a person trans? 39%. 39%. are there stereotypes against the community, the LGBTQA plus community? Yes, indeed. 40% agree that there are many stereotypes associated, that they are dangerous for the children, that is dangerous the children getting, let's say, get in contact with people who are openly gay. And here we have, I'm finishing also with this exposition. I hope you're having a fun time enjoying Lima. But I mean, you're having an insightful time. You're having a moment to understand better what we have to fight. This is really what I am more happy with, and I hope this is working with. Do you express your sexual orientation or gender identity without fear? Nowadays, there are more people that say yes in Peru. 40% also answer yes. In Peru, how discriminated you will say are, this was a national, let's say, census, very, very recent, by the way. The homosexual, trans, and bisexual people are the most discriminated, 71% in Peru. And it's followed by people with AIDS, indigenous communities, people with that are handicapped, for example, disabilities, and many, many other communities as well. We have a long way to fight. Peruvians are in favor of the marriage between gay people, 27%. I here will leave you also a link to gay friendly Lima guy. If you know of someone of the community that is coming to Lima because of the needs to, let's say, give our travelers, our gay travelers to Lima and Peru, like a fun time and enjoy their experience, there is a group that has created a special website dedicated to advertise about the businesses, the hotels, the restaurants that are gay friendly. Also, here you can take a picture of this link. And here a little bit of the biography and videography I have consulted to create this event for you all, and also, let's say, to be the most realistic with every detail. It's not just my suppositions, it's not just my opinion, is let's say official information, official data. And I want also to show you before we finish, I will go backwards to go to the link of my YouTube channel. If you want to also check my YouTube channel, I think this might be working, I hope. Let me just, yes, this is my channel. So if you wish to see my videos of Lima, gracias JB, thank you, gracias Marlene. I hope you enjoy this event and learn a lot, and also understand that we can all be part of the change. It's amazing. Like maybe 300 years ago, there was people like us, like you, like me, who were, like let's say, fighting for the black people not to be slaves. Do you imagine, that something so vital like nowadays, like let's say fighting for equalitarian rights for everyone, doesn't matter their sexual orientation, is as vital as back 300 years ago, people fighting to abolish slavery. So we are being part of history, amigos. We all are being part of history in this moment. So, if you want to come to my channel, my channel is Adventurous Travel Guide, as well as all my social media. You can find me like this name on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, on TikTok. Yes, I do TikToks. And also you can follow in the upper part my channel here in Heygo. Also, you can help me with a donation if you have, of course, the economy to do it. I know not everybody can. I know for sure that these are difficult times for everybody. And please, if you're not able to donate, don't feel discouraged to come to my events. I do this all for you all. I do this all for share the information. If we don't share it, it worth nothing. Because, information is here to share and everybody should learn. And my belief is we should learn for free. Right? But if you can help me with a little donation, a tip, here I am activating, gracias Adrian, a button that helps to guide you into how to support the channel with a tip. You can also become a sponsor of my, gracias Marlene, of course, of my channel with a donation, monthly donation. You can help me also to continue creating events for you. And as an, let's say, little present, little reward for you all, I am creating a book. I am writing 2 books in this moment. They are in process, but my sponsors are able to access to all my updates. One is a guidebook about Lima and its history and its, let's say, touristic attractions. So, and the second one is a cookbook. So I am writing these 2 books, especially as a gift to say thanks to the people who are compromising with a little donation every month to my channel. So this is my present back in return, because I don't want to do private sponsor tours only, because all my tours are meant to be open to everybody. Right? So thanks a lot for that. I hope you enjoy this event. You learn a lot. Please don't feel sad. We are working for a better world. We're all together, a more egalitarian world, and we all can do it. So gracias for your participation. I will be hosting a little bit ahead an event about the Polish heritage in Peru. Poland, Peru, most people believe that we just have a similar, the colors of our flags and the P in the beginning of our names. But we have more in common. And I want to share with you this story, which is very special to me, because my husband is Peruvian Polish and my children as well are also Peruvian Polish. So I want to share this story with you all, which is very special. Also celebrating last 11th, on Friday, there was a very special day for Poland, because it was the Independence Day of Poland. So muchas gracias, amigos. Thanks for following the channel. Thanks for coming to Lima. Marlene, gracias. Ronnie, hola, hello. You can see this event recorded also in my YouTube channel if you haven't seen it all. So now I will be uploading this event there, and you can see it all full. So you will not lose any part of this event. And see you, hope soon, maybe next week, maybe next month, if you're not able to come to my upcoming events this month. Well, I will be missing you a lot. Mwah. Thank you. Best to you all, and see you soon. Gracias, amigos. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.